could have acted better. I think there were some casts that I felt like I was not really convinced with their acting. Hello, Naza here. So I know a lot of us have seen the movie Straw. It came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm here to talk about it. So Straw is a movie by Tyler Perry production, and it's the typical Black American woman struggle in America. You know, single mother going through life alone, struggling to take care of her child. I think I think by now we know how his movie is. The whole suffering black woman, that's his style. That is the type of movie he produces. And as much as I'm not the biggest fan of that type of storyline, I know that type of story or plot, stirs up a lot of emotions, and that is why a lot of his movies, like, they end up blowing up. I think that's how Acrimony became a big deal. The whole woman that suffered with a man, blah blah blah. Then is it A Fall from Grace? Then this one, very similar storyline, right? And he said something about how this is his own reality. This is what he grew up seeing: strong black women going through life alone, single parents suffering, the system messing them up, and everything. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the whole black woman suffering stereotype. That's how most of his movies are. So I won't say I'm the biggest fan. So obviously, I'm watching the movie with the eye of a hawk. I'm being as critical as possible, and I was roped into watching the movie based on the hype. It was highly recommended by everybody. Everybody said they were emotional. Everybody said the story was amazing, and I needed to see for myself. The plot itself is quite simple. A struggling black woman who is trying to put food on her table, pay her rent, and take care of her sick child, right? And how everybody failed her, from her landlady who did not give her enough time to pay her rent, to her employer who was not considerate, to the police officer who was racist, basically. So everybody just failed her. Then that was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. That's exactly how the movie goes. Then she entered into a bank and started acting weird. Or I think the bank scenario was obviously a mix-up, right? They were confused, the whole bomb. I don't want to give out too much, but that's just a summary of what the movie is about. So the movie started immediately. It picked up. If you watch the film in 15-20 minutes, you are fully immersed in the movie. There was no beating around the bush or anything. It was straight to the point. And I also like the watch time. It was not very long. I think it was under 2 hours, and that's how I like my movies. I don't like any movie longer than 2 hours. In fact, I like films that are 1 hour 30 minutes to 1 hour 45 minutes. Anything longer than that, if it's not a series, it's a hostage situation for me. So I would say the plot was nice. As expected, I knew what to expect from his other movies. So the plot was okay. But I actually also have my criticism of the movie. Now let's talk about the actors and the casting. Now when it comes to the casting, I don't think there's anybody in this world that would have played that role better than Taraji P. Henson. She killed it. Mommy is incredible. She's incredible. She's a great actress. There was no denying the fact that she killed the role. And whatever emotion anybody felt while watching that movie, it's just because of her. She can emote, she can act. And I also think her being a single mother made it very easy for her to be able to play that role with all her heart. Because sometimes you need to experience something for you to tell the story correctly. So kudos to her. She was the best. She was the best cast in the entire movie. There was no denying that. As for the other casts, I think they tried, but I think they could have acted better. I think there were some casts that I felt like I was not really convinced with their acting. So it just felt a bit rigid and weird for me, to be honest. For Tiana, she's beautiful. She's extremely beautiful. But I don't know if she was the best person to play that role. And this is me being very honest. I don't know if she is the best person to play that role, that particular role. I think they could have found someone else to play the role. Like I said, she's extremely pretty, but I could not connect with her. The only time in the movie where I felt like, okay, I connected was during the phone call when she got emotional, when Taraji too got emotional, when they were talking on the phone about how when Taraji was explaining that we don't know her struggles, blah blah blah. That was the only time I felt a connection between the two of them and from her. So every other thing just felt a bit bland, and this is just my opinion, honestly. So, but I think Taraji was enough to carry the film. So it was not a situation of, oh, there were several good actors or actresses in the movie. No, Taraji was the star, and she shone. She shined enough for you not to really bother yourself about the other cast. But yes, I still think they could have acted better. That's the other actors in the movie. Some scenes were just a bit cringy and rigid for me. So I don't want to go into details, but that's just what I think. So in summary, I think the casting could have been better, except for Taraji. Taraji was perfect. Like, Mommy was perfect. I love her so much. I love all her movies. So I think the casting was okay. It was okay. Taraji was perfect. Every other person could have done better, but Taraji and the bank manager, I loved them. I don't have any issues with their acting at all, at all, at all. So yeah, that was just it. The plot was nice. The twist at the end, I expected it because I mean it's a Tyler Perry movie. Did I emotionally connect to the movie? Nope, I did not. I did not cry. Um, I did not cry. I did not see why people were crying, but I understand that everybody feels different things, right? Different emotions, and if you emotionally connected to the movie, well done to you. Maybe it's because I did not emotionally connect and I knew what was coming since it's a Tyler Perry production. So I don't have any more tears to cry after crying for so many other of his so many other films he had produced. I think have grown a very strong heart. So yeah, that's just it. If you've seen it, let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. I would rate it a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. Yeah. So that's just it. Take care, guys. See you soon.